everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. This is so exciting. We are thrilled to have one of our favorite Hall stars is here. Everybody knows how much I love Andrew Francis. This is so fun. I'm Rachel, and Andrew Francis is here to talk to us. This is so cool.
Hey, everybody. Hallmarkies, Chessies, everybody out there.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yes. Thank you so much. This is so fun. So
I'm as excited as you are.
Yeah. Well, good. I doubt that, but here we go. All right. So what we like to ask our interviewees to do at first is just introduce yourself and to let us know what inspired you to become an actor.
Sure. Well, my name is Andrew Francis. I started acting when I was 6 years old, actually. I started by doing a whole bunch of commercials. I did about 40 commercials before I was 9 years old. I really loved, my mom sort of got me into it, but she always gave me the option of, if I felt like I wanted to stop doing it, I always had that out. But I absolutely loved being on set. I loved performing, everything that being on set entails. Then when I was 9 years old, I got braces. And so I decided to get into voice acting. And so it kind of took off from there. I couldn't do like cereal commercials anymore, right? Because I had this big metal mouth. Taking the direction that I'd used from my commercial work, I took that into the voice studio, and they were always looking for kids who can actually play kids' parts. Because I'm guessing, Rachel, as you know, a lot of times older women will play younger boy parts, right? Kind of like the Bart Simpson deal.
Right.
I was good at taking direction, and I really had a great career throughout my teen years, and that bled into my 20s. I was doing acting as well. And then Chesapeake Shores came along one day. I was doing a lot of Hallmark movies. I kind of got in with sort of the Hallmark crowd, and they got to know me. And I was working on a movie called Mismatched. And I got the call for the Chesapeake Shores audition. I actually had to miss the first audition. So I put something on tape, and then they had me come in. And I did something. They wanted something with a little more edge. So I gave them something with a little bit more edge. And then I was thrilled to get the call that I was going to be on the show.
That is so cool. Yeah. Well, so I want to talk about your voice acting because
Sure.
Everybody knows animation is my first love. And so you've been a voice actor for forever, like you say, and I counted 20 animated series that you've been on.
That would be an at least. Yeah. I think my IMDb is up to about 180 now, and a lot of it is cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I say like that you've been like multiple, like not just a one-off kind of thing. It was 20 that I counted, but that is amazing. And I'm just so curious what your process is for coming up with a voice.
Well, there's different processes for different parts. Sometimes they'll give us a character breakdown with a voice ref, like sort of a voice match. For instance, they wanted something sort of like Kent Brockman, or Troy McClure, actually. Sorry, that's what they wanted. So, I'm Troy McClure. So you sort of start there and then make it your own. Another way is that they'll give you a description and also a photo. So if I see that, like I did a cartoon called Slug Terra where I played Cave Troll, and he's this big guy. And so, okay, right away he's got to be big. And, and he's always like he's tough, but he's also very jokey. And so, you got to see this thing. Hey, you better watch out. I'll look at the model or the picture that they give me and kind of sort of see, okay, he's got big jowls, so maybe I'm going to give him something like that. Or, if he's a smaller character, I'm going to start there. If he's, a little bit, if he's got glasses, I'll sort of, make him a little more nasally or something like that. So it's really just kind of coming up with the process that works for each character.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so usually you'd look at a picture or something like that, or you've done a lot of anime. So do you listen to the Japanese performer and then decide or do you just do your own?
Sometimes it depends if they, if the show has already been done and I have access to it, I will go and sorry, someone's feeding my cat. I'll go and I'll check out what was done before overseas and try and sort of base it off that a little bit. But a lot of times when they're bringing over something like that, you kind of want to make it your own. So I'll go in and I'll sort of work with the voice director and I'll sort of find what the right voice is for the English dub, and just kind of take the Japanese or whatever the language was before as a little bit of a reference.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, you got to be the lead male for The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Yes.
Was that an amazing experience?
It was an absolutely amazing experience. That was one of my favorite projects to work on. They actually had a little premiere here in Vancouver, which is really fun to go to.
Oh, cool.
But I love the sound design in that movie, especially. Like there's the times where they're playing baseball and just with the crickets going and like you really get put into that setting. We actually don't have access to that kind of mix when we're actually doing the show, but playing that part and by such a renowned director. I mean, he does such great projects. Actually, the last convention, because I do My Little Pony as well. I was at a My Little Pony convention, and one of my fans gave me the DVD of the next movie that he did after. So I've still.
Oh, you've seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. No,
I'm
still waiting to watch it.
Well, he has one coming out this year, which I'm so excited about.
Is that right?
Yeah, called Mirai of the Sun or something like that. Anyway, Mirai something, and I'm really excited about it. It's supposed to be great. And his last one was good. Boy and the Beast, it was called. Yeah. It wasn't my favorite of his, but it was still good. Yeah. And I love Summer Wars so much.
Summer Wars. Okay.
Yeah, you should check that out. It's really good. Yeah, it's like Wreck-It Ralph and meets The Matrix meets like.
You know what? Actually, that's the one that you gave me. Is it sort of a rabbit?
Type thing? Oh yeah. That's in the.
Yeah. That's the DVD she gave me. Yeah.
Oh, you'll love it. It's super creative and great.
I'm excited.
I love it. That's really, really cool. Yeah. So you had been in Ninjago and Friendship is Magic.
Yeah.
And you've been really great about supporting the fan base, our, all the bronies and all that fun stuff. Like, what is that like to be involved in that?
I have an absolutely awesome experience every time I go to one of the conventions.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the same people. A lot of them go from convention to convention. So it's cool. I mean, when I first went, I made friends with sort of all the main bronies that you see at all the different conventions. And I love spending time with them. It's a place where some people who necessarily can't sort of show their extrovert side, they really come out of their shell at these conventions. And it gives me great joy spending time with them and, I don't know, sort of brightening up their day a little bit because they brighten mine. So it's a give and take for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to me because, some people might be dismissive of, they're men who like My Little Ponies. But in my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with men liking things that are feminine, or at least were originally designed for women. And I think there's actually a lot more men that like Hallmark Channel than I would have ever thought before doing this podcast. Like we have a lot of male fans.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting, I think. And so I think it's really cool. And it's such a great show. I mean, especially like the first 4 seasons of Friendship is Magic is solid.
It's so solid.
Yeah.
And I mean, like that whole stigma about men loving My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Friendship is Magic is the main point, right? That like My Little Pony is almost a conduit or like a sort of a way for these awesome people to get together and be friends. Like I think that the way that Brony actually started, this is a fun fact. It was it's not bro pony fans. It was in 4chan. There was a B forum and people went in there to try and sort of slag My Little Pony at first. And then all these people actually started realizing that they liked it and they became bronies, right? Pony with the B. Yeah. No, I mean, like when they get together and stuff, I enjoy watching them have such a good time and opening up to each other and supporting each other. It's a community full of support and friendship and quite frankly, magic. It's a fun experience.
That's what one of my friends, Palostino, one of my fellow YouTubers, he said it was just like, I liked it because it was really good. I think that's
it's a really
true.
Well done show.
Yeah. It's really, really good. I liked the movie. I thought it was, I thought it was really cute. I enjoyed it. So yeah.
I got a chance to actually see it. that's still on the docket for me.
Yeah.
I think Shining Armor shows up. He doesn't say anything, but
okay.
I got my fingers crossed for the next one if they're
right. Yeah, very cool. Well, that's really neat. And then in Ninjago, getting to be involved in that must be fun.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, I went for the lead characters back in the day and I had no idea sort of what it was. And I gave my best effort. The guys that cast are unbelievable. Some of the best here in Vancouver, definitely top notch. And when I saw Moro, the character, come along, that was my opportunity to go and join him with the fun. So it's definitely a fun character. It was cool. His backstory of, wanting to be the Green Ninja and training under Sensei Wu, and then sort of his, well, I won't give too much away, but sort of where he ends in the series was quite dramatic and a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, that's really cool. I wasn't as big a fan of the movie.
Yeah, well, it wasn't any of the voices. It's all the really talented people that sort of brought it together. That was a little bit of a bummer, but
it was a bummer, and it was just kind of boring. It just wasn't compared to the show.
Hey,
so, oh well.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some, right? But that's awesome. So, all right. Well, I guess we should talk about Hallmark.
Hey, always love talking about Hallmark.
So, your first role, I think, for Hallmark was Trading Christmas. Is that right?
Trading Christmas. I mean, gosh, yeah. There's been so many. I think that was definitely one of the first ones. Yeah.
So so that's actually my favorite Hallmark Christmas movie, believe it or not. And it's not just because you're in it. I just really like it. I think it's so good. I actually think it's better than The Holiday.
Yeah.
I do, because I think Cameron Diaz is super annoying. I don't like her. And so so I really like Trading Christmas better. And it does a lot of things that I think aren't in Hallmark anymore, which I kind of miss. Like, there is a lot of kissing in Trading Christmas, which I'm a big fan of, and I think it's super romantic.
Yeah.
And, and I like the way that it's still fun and it's still light, but it deals with some, I like what it has to say about grieving and how Faith Ford's character comes to understand that she needs to honor, but she needs to also move on in her life, like find that balance. I just love it. I think it's such a good movie.
Yeah. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the one that I got to work with Brit on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then getting to work with Brit again on Chesapeake Shores was amazing. I mean, we've known each other for forever. I mean, we did a lot of animation together here in the city. And then we played boyfriend and girlfriend on a few different Hallmark movies. And now I've had the pleasure of working with her on 2 seasons of Chesapeake Shores. So that was
cool. Yeah. That's I didn't realize that. That's really cool. And they actually, I like the book, but like your character in particular is way better in the movie than in the book. The book, he's like a Harley writer who's like kind of abusive and mean and everything like that.
That doesn't sound very Hallmark to me.
No. So they made that much better. He kind of like leaves her there because she's like too in love with Christmas and her mom and whatever. No, because I was reading it, I'm like, no, I like Andrew Francis better.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And then you had Mr. Miracle.
Yeah.
Where you got to, that was your first lead.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Trading Christmas. That was with Emma Lahana. Mr. Miracle. That was the one with Brit Urban.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
I had a little bit of confusion there. Yeah. No. Yeah, Mr. Miracle, that was really fun. I can't remember the lead actor who put out that really interesting and awesome performance, but he did an absolutely wonderful job, and that was the one that I got to work with Brit on. It's funny because we did all the scenes for that in a very short amount of time because I spent a majority of it with my leg all hurt up on the couch and her bringing me food.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I ate, because, when we do takes of a television show or a movie, you have to do the master, and then you have to do the coverage of one person, the coverage of another person sort of wide, and then the close-ups and all that stuff. And so when you're doing eating scenes, you have to watch how many bites you take because
you have
to multiply that by at least 6 or 7 times by the time you're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a super, super fun project to work on. I remember back to it just being so absolutely hot because we film a lot of these Christmas movies in the summertime, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we're usually layered up. It was nice to be inside on that one, but a lot of times you're wearing 14 layers and you're out picking trees with fake snow and you have the fans on you trying to keep you cool. But always an interesting and amazing experience.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it was Brit Urban on that one. The, who's Mr. I'm not sure.
That would have been the one before Trading Christmas would have been Emma Lahana.
Right. So yeah, and then you had 'Tis the Season for Love, and that is where you first worked with Brendan Penny.
Yes, right? That's right. Yeah.
So that's fun.
It was an awesome time.
Yeah. And that movie is written by our friend Nina Weidman, who we love.
Yeah, so I guess we on Coming Home for Christmas last year.
She was our first interview that we ever had. on our
No
podcast.
way, really? Well,
Yeah.
you started out at the top.
Yeah, that's right. It was a high, set the bar high.
Yeah, you said she definitely sets the bar high. Yeah. I mean,
we,
you were kind. Last year when we were at the Hallmark party, she approached me and said that she had coming home for Christmas and she thought that I would be a good kid. And she was the kind of person who pushed me in the direction of doing the film. So I'm definitely indebted to Nina. I love her.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, we've actually now had her on twice. She's just basically a co-host of the podcast. She's the best.
Couldn't have asked for a better co-host.
Yes. And yeah, and so that one's a lot of fun. And then Mismatched. And I really like Mismatched because I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I'm not a big fan of the wedding movies, to be perfectly honest.
Sure.
They're a little, I just think they can be a little selfish, the characters for my taste.
Yeah.
And, but in this one, it was kind of funny because it was sort of like all the Bridezilla stuff was like kind of confronted.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At all. Yeah.
And that was fun for me.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Well, yeah, I had a pleasure working with Alexa. She was amazing to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And also Elise Gatien, who played my wife-to-be in the film.
Right.
I actually cast her. I produced movies for a little while. I produced 3 in a year about 3 or 4 years ago. And I cast her as one of the leads in that movie. So getting her with her was amazing. And I follow Alexa and Carlos on and their baby, watch their baby Ocean and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, whenever I see her at the Hallmark parties too, it's always like it's like seeing second fan.
Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, and they're going to be in Nina's next movie, in the one on the Love on the Sea or whatever.
Yeah, we got to talk about that when I saw them last week. Yeah. I want to work on a cruise ship or
I know.
out in Africa. Hey, I love Parksville, I love Nanaimo, I love Qualicum, and sometimes Langley for the movies here. But take me to Fiji.
Right, exactly. You got to get on that.
Right.
So yeah, and then coming home for Christmas, playing Kip.
Yeah.
Was that fun? That seemed like a fun role.
It was super, super fun. Yeah, I was so honored to be offered the role, and it was just, it was my biggest, I think my biggest or second biggest film that I've done for Hallmark in sort of the amount that the character sort of gives to the film.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, working with Danica was an absolute pleasure, and working with Neil was an absolute pleasure. Again, we were filming that like just about this time last year when it was just insanely hot at this house out in like the Meadows or Langley. But no, the opportunity to play such a dynamic character and a character with such an arc was a huge pleasure. And Mel, our director, was awesome, and I was really honored when Hallmark thought of me for the role. Well,
hopefully they will do a sequel, and it can be you getting the girl the next time. We talked to Nina about it. And,
oh, really? Yeah. So, well, you kind of let me in that maybe something's in the works. I mean, I can't say too much, but I think some ideas have been thrown around.
All right. That's what we want to hear. So I also saw on your IMDb that you were a dancer in Zombies. I didn't know you were do you dance?
I not very well, and no, I don't think I danced in Zombies.
Oh, what was I reading? Maybe I.
First of all, I'm wondering what Zombies is, and second of all, dance.
Yeah, it says it on your IMDb. I'm looking at it right now. It says Zombies TV movie dancer.
Zombies TV movie dancer.
So your IMDb is incorrect.
How long ago? What year was this?
This was this year. It's a Disney movie, Zombies.
Like on screen? It's not an animated thing?
I mean, it's not an animated program. There is like a little animated, like interstitial kind of thing.
I don't know. You stumped me on this one.
Check your IMDb. It's on there. And I was like, I didn't know Andrew danced.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't either. So this is news to me and you as well.
Yeah. Anyway, good. Okay.
Let's pretend I did. Sure. Yes. You got to see it. It's amazing.
It's like, wow, he does it all. So anyway, but let's talk about Connor. So this is so exciting. So Connor was my favorite character, not only because he's played by you, but because I related to his story arc so much. Yeah. Because when I was 27, I had been working at this job for 3 years, and it started out that it was just going to be this like little secretarial job, and then it just kind of ballooned into this thing that like overtook my life. And I had this manager who I just it was not a good situation. It was kind of a toxic situation. She was just very critical of me. I was just super unhappy.
Right.
And so when I finally quit that job, it was like a very empowering moment in my life. And
good for you.
And something I'll never forget. And I've worked from home and been self-employed ever since. And that was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm grateful that it's all worked out. But I don't know. I just really related to his story, because it's like you start this job with this like, enthusiasm, and then it can just like drain you of everything. I don't know. And how was it playing that role in that experience for you?
Well, playing Connor has been fantastic. I've absolutely loved it. I mean, his story arc, it kind of matched my life a little bit. Like, I tell this to the writers and the executives and stuff. I say, when I read a script, I always wonder, I'm like, are you guys peering into my life?
Yeah.
Wild. He started with that edge, and he, had problems with his mom, his dad, his brothers, his sisters. He kind of just had that air about him. And he spent the first season kind of working himself up and sort of building relationships. And he was able to help Abby at the end with the custody battle, which was really awesome. And there was growth there. And then in the second season, he started working for the man. And he got into kind of a drone type lawyer job. He passed the bar. No spoil. Sorry for the spoilers, everyone. But and he passed the bar, and he started doing that. And he started to look around and see, okay, this isn't really fulfilling me. And he watched people who were definitely unfulfilled. And I'm sure you can relate to that kind of thing. Having the boss who wants this from you and that from you, and is always being hypercritical. And so he, mustered up the guts, even though his dad had sort of helped him get that job, Mick. He mustered up the guts to quit and to go and approach his dad and say, hey, look, I've left the job, and I'm going to be working for Uncle Thomas for something that actually sort of spoke to him, to his heart.
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of changes. I mean, last year I decided to quit drinking. And so there's actually a little Easter egg. If you watch, the last time you see Connor actually drink a beer is the very end of season 1 when they're clinking. And every other time, and you'll see in the season as well, I haven't told a single soul. So this is the first time I'm actually letting tell the executives. I just told the prop people on set.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But a lot of growing. So he grew a lot in season 2. And then now in season 3, he's working for his Uncle Thomas. And fireworks start right off the bat for Connor a little bit. He slides a little bit into his old ways somewhat from the first season. He gets a little bit of a chip on his shoulder with a few different people. And then throughout the season, he sort of comes to an understanding of how he needs to mature and how he needs to listen, and just really get great values for not only the audience, but as I was playing the character, it was just a joy to embody those types of maturities, because I feel like that's something that I'm going through as well. Yeah.
I just hope he's not too tempted by corporate life again. I'm like, please no, because
too much, but definitely growing and seeing the forest for the trees, as a pun intended.
Yeah. Well, and it's really interesting. I think him and Jess are the ones that are most affected by Mega's decision to leave the family. And so I don't know, how do you tap into, of course, Barbara Niven's just so lovely. So I think that's got to help a little bit, but how do you tap into that?
That actually, sorry to cut you off. That actually hurts. It's hard. Right. The stuff that I have to do with Barbara, like I have to sort of act in a certain way and sometimes brush her off. And she's just such a loving, giving, caring person who I love deeply in real life. It's so hard to be giving her the mean eyes and saying, not so nice things to her, It's really tough, and afterwards we'll hug before a scene, hug after a scene, and we'll be like, we love each other in real life, but we have to embody these characters. So, I mean, yes, it definitely helps working with Barbara, but sometimes because she is so sweet, it's difficult to play that chip on the shoulder that I normally wouldn't have with her at all.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah. Do you come from a large family, or?
I don't come from a very large family. No, I have one brother who's 4 years old.
Yeah. So how does this like sibling dynamic, how do you kind of make it feel like, it feels like you guys are like you have chemistry, I feel like, with each other as siblings. And I don't know, how are you able to make that happen? Is it just natural, or?
It helps. I mean, well, the girls, they got along right off the bat, just because I think a few of them knew each other, and just they're very kindred spirits. Not to say that us guys didn't get along with them as well, but as the seasons went on, I mean, we really did become a family. Like my girlfriend visited me on set, and we were all in the van driving from what we call the circus, where the trailers are, to set. And we were talking about something. And afterwards, she was like, you guys really are like family now. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And when I started the series, Connor was very to himself. He was living in New York, and he didn't have a relationship with them. And so as the series progressed, I was lucky enough to sort of build my relationship with the girls, with the family, as my character was discovering his relationships with the family as well.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I was actually quite lucky. And then in this season, I think he gets, I won't say with who, but, he gets very close to a few of his siblings and has some very, very heartfelt moments and is able to actually give advice to them, where Connor from the previous seasons wasn't really in a place to do that. So and me getting to know them as well, it made it very easy and just a real joy to work with them and to find those moments.
Yeah. Did you have like favorite episode or scene or moment of the show for you?
Yeah, I mean the car scene with Treat in season 1, where I kind of lay into him, that was. We did a lot of takes of that. We did one where actually Connor broke down crying, which was a little too early for his character development to actually go there. But that was a very intense scene. Working with Treat, he's a pro. He knows his stuff, and he teaches me a lot. And so I had a lot of fun working with Treat. But to be honest, my favorite scenes are from this upcoming season. There are some just such heartfelt scenes. I mean, there's some, and you're going to see it right off the bat. There's some real tension that builds up, and there's some stuff. There's some drama, some conflict, and those scenes are always really, really great to play. But then with the sisters, there's some emotional stuff. We dig up sort of what happened in the past and revisit those painful memories that we're sort of getting through. I mean, that's a huge part of the show, is sort of reliving and getting past, past trauma. And there's a few scenes. There's one, I can't say who. I'm going to leave it a surprise, but it's about mid-season, and it's quite emotional. And it was definitely, I felt it was a very rewarding experience to get to show that side of Connor. So
that's so cool.
The next scene that I'm very excited for the audience to see.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, we haven't had much romance yet for Connor. There was Danielle, but it was pretty, compared to the other siblings' romance, it was a pretty more minor plot.
Most definitely.
And so hopefully we'll be getting a little bit more of that, maybe?
Yes, there's, again, without giving too much, there's an arc between, we got together at the end of last season, and right off the bat, you'll be seeing Danielle, maybe not in the first couple episodes, but into it, she definitely comes back into Connor's life, or is there in Connor's life. No, actually you do see her in the first few episodes. But there's, their relationship is interesting because, they work together in sort of the same type of field, and there's sometimes conflicts that can come out of that. And without saying too much, there's definitely an arc this season with their characters. So you never know which way it's going to go.
That's really, really good. Do you think that Connor has a particular one of the siblings that he sort of meshes with most? Is it Jess or Kevin?
I mean, for different things, different siblings. I mean, Jess and Connor, they were the youngest when Megan moved away and Mick was always working. So a lot of the times they banded together. There's definitely some scenes in this this upcoming season where they relive some of those moments and they talk and they actually get to connect. I think that might actually happen in there's a first scene where Jess and Connor get to connect in the first either episode or second episode. We've only seen 2 so far when I was down in LA. There's a strong connection with them because of the trauma that they've been through and the way that they coped and were together. And then of course there's the bonding moments between Brendan's character Kevin and Connor. There's a little bit of animosity between the two of them just because Kevin was always the shining example and, did all the things right per se. Yeah. And Connor was more of the wild child and that kind of stuff. And he kind of felt like Kevin got a little bit more attention than he did. And so there's some tension there and a little bit that gets brought up in season 3 as well. Yeah. But there's also, there's brotherly love, right? I mean, that's what's so great about Hallmark, especially Chesapeake Shores, but anything Hallmark. But on Chesapeake Shores is that you get to see not only the conflict, but the resolution. And we play in the real a lot on Chesapeake Shores, which is one of the joys of working on such a spectacular show.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited. Is Brendan Penny a super goof on set? Because we heard from Jen Lilly that he is a goof.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say for the record, he's a consummate professional. Yeah, he can be a bit of a goof. We can all be a little bit of a goof. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes, we'll all get the giggles. Him and Amelia, especially.
Okay.
And Lacey's there too. Like, they'll start, when the giggles start, you'll sort of catch eyes with somebody. And yeah, they'll just start to come and you have to try and bury them. And the crew just sort of deals with it because they know, like, okay, they go again. They get the giggles, right? But Brendan definitely, when a certain thing will happen, he'll shoot and it'll be, let's say, on my coverage, and I have to, use all of my strength and not just break out laughing with him like I want to, right? But we all play sort of little games with each other every once in a while. But no, he's a total professional. I learned a lot from Brendan. I connected with him a lot more this season, and he's definitely a guy that I love. Yeah, he's a true friend.
Great. Well, we like to end our interviews with some silly questions.
Okay, sure.
And so if you would mind indulging us, let me pull those up real quick. We call them the Teen Beat questions. I don't know if you've ever heard of Teen Beat, but it's like
way back. Was that like a magazine where
you could have like Jonathan Taylor Thomas on your wall. Like
that one.
Yeah. So they're just our silly questions. So
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm in.
All right. Here we go. Okay. So first one, best ice cream flavor.
Oh boy. If you talk to my younger self, it'd be bubblegum, but now I'm loving coconut. Coconut anything.
Yum. Okay. Favorite color.
Favorite color, blue.
Not good. What music are you into right now?
What music am I into right now? Well, I started a meditation center here in Vancouver called Den Meditation. And so I've been listening to a lot of meditative music. That's kind of my jam at the moment.
Like Enya and stuff like that?
I wouldn't go as far as saying Enya. I mean, maybe sometimes, but like, I play the Tibetan bowls and the gong.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of stuff. So just stuff that sort of puts my mind at ease and helps me meditate a little bit easier.
Cool. Good. All right. Next is your go-to date night food.
Go-to date night food. Well, I've given up meat. So my girlfriend and I, Carrie, we love to go out for fish. Oh, I guess not meat. I've given up like red meat. So,
okay.
So I love anything seafood. Lobster. I love Dungeness crab.
Okay, good. And your go-to date night activity.
Go-to date night activity. I love going out to dinner, and then I like going out. Since we've stopped drinking, I love. I don't know, actually, that's a good question. I mean, I love going to see a good movie, but sometimes a good walk can be great. I mean, Vancouver, we live in a town here where the climate is never too hot or never too cold. It's rainy sometimes. But yeah, like this city is so beautiful. I love just going for a really nice walk after dinner.
That sounds like a great life to me. Okay, so dogs or cats?
Well, I own a dog named Bento, so I love dogs, but my girlfriend has a cat named Chip, who I also love. So that's a dead tie.
Okay, good. That's a very good answer. Okay, so beaches or mountains?
Again, this is a dead tie. I love beaches. I love to surf. I love to wakeboard. That's one of my passions. But I also love to snowboard. Big time.
Oh.
Yeah, and I love to longboard. So if I'm on a mountain, I'm either snowboarding or longboarding, and if I'm on the water, I'm wakeboarding or surfing. So it depends on the season, I guess. Winter, I love the mountains. Summer, I love the ocean.
Well, if you ever get out to Utah, we can give you tips.
Okay, good.
Where to go and everything. So, all right. Suit and tie or sweats?
Oh, sweats. Are you kidding me? I wear enough suit and ties on Chesapeake Shores. Good gracious. Bud has always got his monkey suit on, right? I gotta just every once in a while ask, like, can I roll the sleeves up and do some tie? And they give you that leeway. But for 3.5 months, I'm in a suit and tie, so most definitely whatever's most comfortable.
They're like, what kind of show do you think this is? All right. Favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? I love Christmas.
Yeah. You can't really beat Christmas, especially if you're for Hallmark.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, when we get the pleasure of actually seeing some snow come down in Vancouver, that's the best. We actually had snow on Christmas Day this year, and I'm overjoyed.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like snow through New Year's, and then after it's kind of a pain in the neck. But as long as I don't have to drive, I hate driving on the snow.
Well, that's the whole thing. Driving is tough, right? But I mean, like going for a walk, I'll take the dog and we'll go for a walk. And I have Bento's just a little guy, right? So he's just hopping from thing to thing. And like, honestly, one of my favorite things is like sitting in a hot tub and looking up and watching the snow sort of look like it's dark against the white sky. It's
Oh
like one
my
of my,
gosh, that sounds so fun.
yeah, very relaxed.
So, all right. So the last question.
Okay.
What is, I mean, this is hard since you don't have Hallmark Channel in Canada,
Yeah.
but what is your favorite Hallmark movie? And you can pick one of your own if you want.
My favorite Hallmark. I think it's the yet to come Chesapeake Shores Christmas movie. Come on, Hallmark, let's do it.
Yes, let's do it, please.
It's a future movie, but I'm guessing it will be my favorite, and even just manifesting it, I'm going to say that's my favorite.
Yes, I want to see that. We've had a Good Witch Christmas movie. We've had a When Calls the Heart Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So we need to have it.
Chesapeake Shores. I mean, what do they do when it's not sunny out? Good grief.
Right.
It's always sunny in Chesapeake Shores.
I grew up in Maryland. It snows there.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, for real. Well, cool. Well, that's good. And so thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's my pleasure, Rachel. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And so do you have social media that you want to share or anything like that?
Yeah, so my, which is which here? My Twitter is Drew Francis 604. 604 is our area code here. And my my Instagram is Andrew Francis 604.
Great.
And
we'll have that.
vice versa. But
okay, great. We'll have that in the description section. And so make sure you're following Andrew. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod on all social media. And also you can listen to us on all the different podcast platforms. And if you can put in a review on iTunes, it's very helpful because then people can find the show. So we really appreciate that. And thank you so much again, Andrew. This was a blast.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I hope everybody tunes in August 5th for our premiere of season 3. And we'll all be live tweeting the cast. And so all you Chessies, you Hardys, you Hallmarkies, come join us on Twitter and let's just blow the Twittersphere up.
We will be live tweeting, and we are going to be having we're calling it Chesapeake Chats, where each week on Thursdays, we're going to be talking about the latest episode. So make sure you check out that. That's going to be really fun. So
it's been an absolute pleasure, Rachel. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And hopefully we can have you on again soon. Amber was so sad she couldn't be here. So hopefully we have you on again.
Without a doubt.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.